when I started volunteering, I loved the relationships that I was making with all the people in the industry. And one of the big things I always tell people, like, if I didn't volunteer, I would still just be this small shop. I wouldn't have like this whole network of people that I can call on, that I can, have friendships with, or just whatever it is. The passion of this is about the people, right? I love my customers. I love working with companies. You need to find those other people that have that same passion that you can confide in and talk to, so they are not the ones talking you out of leaving something you love.
Welcome to the Ride and Style Podcast, your turbocharged pit stop for automotive restyling. Buckle up with Jesse and Josh.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Ride and Style Podcast. Today, our special guest is Sara Morosan from LGE-CTS Motorsports. Hi, Sara. Thanks for being here today.
Hello. Thank you, guys. Glad to be here.
Sara, you won SEMA Person of the Year in 2021, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what I would, because I remember, because you were,
you were 22, right?
I was 22. You were 21, which awesome. I thought for sure. I mean, so well deserved for you, not for me, but definitely not for Colby. Maybe Ian, but let's face it. Ever since you, it's just gone like this. Okay, so we got to figure that out. But who was it? Who won before you? Was that the COVID year that nobody won, or did they?
No, it was Miles Kovacs won it.
Oh, that's
the
right.
Year of COVID, yeah. So.
Oh, that's horrible to win and nobody there.
Right.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's awesome. So you have been so involved. I mean, the way we know each other is through SEMA and everything like that. And we want to hear. But before we get into your actual paying career, I mean, you are like the volunteer of volunteers. You've done SBN, you've done SEMA Cares, you've chaired both, doing all these things. I mean, and you're on all the. I'm sure you're on all the secret society task forces and everything like that. They're roping you in on everything. Why do you do it, and what are you getting out of it?
So I was already volunteering before I got involved with like SEMA stuff. And Mike Stagnola is the one that told me, he was like, you should start volunteering with SEMA on like the councils and stuff. And I was like, man, I don't really know if this is like how this is going to help me or what this is going to do. But I decided to run for Tora, and I got on. So it was kind of cool just going in and seeing. But honestly, like when I started volunteering, I loved the relationships that I was making with all the people in the industry. And one of the big things I always tell people, like, if I didn't volunteer, I would still just be this small shop, and I would just see the people I see at SEMA once a year, and I wouldn't have like this whole network of people that I can call on, that I can, be like have friendships with, or just whatever it is. And I don't know, volunteering for me, like, it's always been instilled in my family, always, to like give back to people. And for me, it's like, if I'm going to give back, I might as well give back in the area that I'm passionate about. So usually that's for me is like, children's stuff, or inspiring people to go out there and do what they love. So I don't know, I like volunteering because of that. When it's things other than that, it does get challenging, but I like it.
Josh, we might have lost your audio there, or maybe you're on mute. Something happened. While Josh is doing that, Sara, I would like to ask a question, if that's okay. Because we haven't met before, and I would love to know more about your history. Like, how did you get started in automotive? How did you get going in this whole world? And you said you're second generation, so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so my parents started an auto body shop in 1982, and then they used to paint a lot of the SEMA vehicles for companies. So like they would do like all of like Fabtex trucks, and a lot of the stuff for like Dixie Peck, and I think Mickey Thompson. And so there was all these different brands that they would paint these trucks for. And they would, back then it was like everything was free or it was trade, like you didn't get paid to do the job. So everyone would send my dad parts, like, oh, these are our #1 selling kit, but my dad didn't actually sell parts. So when I was 16 and I was already working at the shop answering phones and, doing all the standard stuff, hire your 15 and 16-year-old to do, right? And I told my dad one day, I was like, who's selling all these parts upstairs? Like all this inventory that's up there. And he was like, oh, we don't sell them. It's just up there. And I said, well, I'm going to start a website and start selling them. So I came up with customtruckshop.com and I put all the parts on there. And then I started going to all the mini truck shows and swap meets and just anything I could on the weekends. Because he said anything I sold, I can keep 50% of it. So I just did that for 2 years and then decided to go work for another auto body shop because I wanted to be an insurance adjuster is what I thought I wanted to be. I did that for 6 months. So
how does a person wake up one day and go, I want to be an insurance adjuster? I mean, like, I want to be a pilot or a firefighter, but here's Sara dreaming, I want to be an insurance adjuster.
I don't know.
Like, I want to see wrecked cars and I want to tell them how much it's going to cost.
You're right. And fight with body shops.
Yes.
Honestly, I think it was because I was sitting at the shop all the time since I was, my whole life, but I would see all these different people come into my shop and I'm like, you guys just get to drive around all day and then like write up estimates and that's it. Like, I just thought it sounded like such a easy job, but at the same time, like they got to go out and drive around. I didn't also know about traffic and all that other stuff. So
you're like, I see this guy. He always has a coffee and a phone and a tablet and just writing stuff down. That sounds like a pretty good job. I get that. Okay.
Yeah. So, but then I realized I was like, yeah, I do not want to do this. So I lasted like 6 months doing that. And I went back to my parents and I said, actually, I wrote him a business proposal.
How old are you? You're like 18 at this point?
I was 18, almost 19. And so I wrote a business proposal and I asked my parents if I could start a shop. And my dad says, I'll give you a bay so you can do installs and I'll give you a portion of the lobby so you can put parts in here. And I was like, awesome. And then in 01, when I was 21, one of my dad's, one of the buildings in the complex, because my parents own the complex, was one of the guys was moving out and it was a 6,000 square foot shop. And I asked my parents, can I have the shop? And again, sent them a thing about, here's my projections. This is what I want to do, blah, blah. So I got that shop and we were in that shop for 11 years or so. Yeah, about that. And then my sister started doing the body shop stuff because she was pregnant and she used to be a CNC machinist. And when she was pregnant, she couldn't be around the machines because of the noise and the oil. So then she started working for the auto body shop. And then my parents came over to my shop. And then in 2011, we combined our shop. So that's why we now have the really long name LGE-CTS Motorsports, because it's LNG Enterprise, the body shop, and CTS is Custom Truck Shop, my original name. So that's how I got into it.
CustomTruckShop.com, Jesse. Don't you wish you would have thought of that URL 20 years, 30 or 40 years ago?
Oh yeah. That's great.
That's a great
Well,
one.
you had to. There was no search engines. So you had to find something like, what would people type in and come to your website, because we didn't have Google.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So, Josh, did you have another question you were going to ask earlier about the volunteering thing?
Well, I how many years total do you have in volunteering? How long were you on Tora?
So I was on Tora 6 years, and then I termed out of there and then went to SBN. So I'll be immediate past chair come this July. But I've been volunteering with SEMA Cares longer than anything, but
Oh.
SEMA Cares didn't come official, beforehand. I mean, it's been around forever, but I've been volunteering with SEMA Cares probably since 2008, I think.
Wow.
2000.
So tell people if they're listening to this and they don't know exactly what SEMA Cares is, because nobody cares about Torah, but oh crap, I'm gonna get a text from Reasoner, I know it, but tell everybody what SEMA Cares does and why it's so important.
Yeah, so SEMA Cares is the portion of SEMA where we give back, and we get to work with children's charities, and we work with 3 very specific children's charities, which is Victory Junction, Child Health, and Austin Hatcher. And the reason, and everything kind of we want to make sure it still has some type of like automotive tie for us. But the main reason like SEMA Cares is, I don't know, it's really hard to explain to people even when they volunteer, but I'm like, until you actually go to the charities and you see what these kids are and what we're doing for them, like it's so hard not to like want to volunteer and do more for them. But so like Austin Hatcher, they build a car every year, and they're for kids that have cancer. But one of like the really cool portions of like Austin Hatcher is like, yes, they're taking care of the kids that have cancer, which is major. But they're also looking at their siblings that like a lot of times when kids have cancer, the parents are spending so much time with the kid that is sick that the siblings don't really get that much attention. So Austin Hatcher has a program where like they work with like the siblings and making sure that they're still getting recognized. And so they build cars every year for the SEMA show. And then that car gets auctioned off. And then that money comes back to Austin Hatcher. So it helps those kids feel like they're building something and they have a community, but now they're also doing something that's helping raising money for their siblings to also get better as well. So like that part's like super cool. And a lot of the kids after they're finished with like all their brain cancer treatment or their cancer treatment, they have to figure out the motor skills and functionality. So they actually literally have engine blocks like on stands at the charity, and it helps the kids by reassembling the motors, get their motor skills back. But
Motor skill. I love it.
yeah, right. So it's kind of cool that like how everything just kind of like ties in, and they have like the race car simulators there, and so it's all these different functions that they do, but it all kind of ties into automotive. But it's just really great to kind of just see like how excited these kids are, and even though the things that they're going through, there's something that still brings joy to them, right? So I think that's why we get so excited about being part of it.
And you guys do such a phenomenal job. It's an honor to donate to that every year and are ongoing. And I know it's sometimes tough to get the word out there. If people do want to donate, is it SEMAcares.com? They can just go right on there and donate, right?
So it's SEMA Cares it's SEMA.org/SEMA Cares.
Okay.
Yes, and they can go on there any time of the year and donate. We also have like celebrity cars that we have signed, which are these like little Pinewood cars that have signatures. You can buy those throughout the year. We have a couple of different things that we have going on throughout the year that you can purchase as well. But yeah, we're always trying to look for, people to partner with. Like the Detailers Association, like they raise a whole bunch of money for SEMA Cares, which is awesome. We've had at SEMA last year, we had a group that like, they built, I think it was ruckuses and rode those to SEMA. So it's like just all the different little things that just brings awareness to SEMA Cares is amazing. But yes, you can donate every single day. Right now we are in the middle of race our Pinewood Derby cars or races that'll be at the gala. So we have what we call the Industry Cup Challenge, where we race against other people in the industry, which brings in the most money that we do throughout the year. So those are $1,000 a piece. And then, or you can buy individual cars, which is Build It For Me car, where that car gets sent to a child at one of the charities. They get to paint a car, and then they get to paint 2 cars. One gets sent back for you at the gala, and then one they get to keep and race wherever they're at. So it's a pretty cool program. The kids love it. They get excited about it every year. And those are coming up in July. So
Awesome.
Sara, for people that don't know you or anything about the company, tell us a little bit about you guys. Where does the name LGE-CTS, what does that even stand for? Where does that come from? And what do you guys do? Like, just for brand new people and beginners.
So LGE is LNG Enterprises, which is Louis is my dad and my mom is Geraldine. So it's their initials. Pretty basic, yep. And then CTS is our custom truck shop. And like I said, we combined those in 2011. So we do anything like it. I don't know. I'm like I always try to bring it down a little bit more, but we're standard accessory shop. We do, lift kits, wheels, tires, standard bed lids, running boards. And we do a ton of fleet work is probably like our big thing. Which like we have a couple of like helicopter companies that we deal with for fires, because in California we have a lot of fires. So unfortunately we have vehicles that we outfit all the time constantly for the helicopter companies. So that's probably one of our biggest things. But it's also not the pretty thing, so I probably don't talk about it as much. But other than that, like we build a lot of like SEMA builds and building vehicles. So like last year we did a bunch of builds for eBay Motors. And so it's fun. We get to do lots of project vehicles. We get to work with tons of marketing teams. We build vehicles for like Ford Motor Company, Kia, Nissan, and like I said, eBay Motors. There's like tons of different brands that we build for. And
you did Jay Leno's Bronco, right? Jay Leno's Bronco.
Yeah, we did Jay Leno's Bronco, and that was through Ford Motor Company for the launch of the Bronco. But yeah, we built Jay Leno's Bronco, which was a ton of fun. But yeah, so we built lots of anything and everything. So
that sounds exhausting. I just want to be an insurance adjuster, because that sounds like so much work. I just am overwhelmed with how much you guys do. And because I know you guys are in Southern California.
Yes.
Right. So check them out, LGE-CTS. Where do you see the trend going? I mean, listen, you at 16, you were writing business plans. What's your business plan for the next 5-10 years? Unless it's a secret, because you don't want Jesse opening up a shop in Southern California. But what's your business plan? Where do you think growth?
So I don't know if
You don't have to say anything private.
No, it's not really private. For me, we like in 2020, you want to talk about challenges? That was our challenge in 2020. Our body shop side of things just basically shut down. But then the truck accessory side of things started to grow, and we really weren't prepared for that, right? So there was a lot of moving pieces. And right now my goal is just kind of to I'm just been rebuilding the company. We had started Baja Forged in the middle of COVID, or right before COVID. And that started taking off. But I told my sister 2 years ago, was like, I can't keep doing Baja Forged, LGE-CTS, and then I was doing Olaf as well, which is our overland events company. And it was too much, and I couldn't focus on one thing. So I decided to remove myself from the 2 other companies and focus mainly on LGE. So right now I'm literally rebuilding the company, and it's funny because it's something I've been struggling with, literally been having this conversation all week. If I want multiple stores, or if I just want to build, we were 28,000 square feet, and I'm like, do I want to go back into a 28,000 square feet building and go back to the 25 employees? Or do I want to keep it small and just really focus on this? So I actually don't have an answer to that right now. because I'm kind of in the middle of regrouping, and I don't know if it's like, because I'm like, in my 40s now, and I'm like, do I really want to take all of this on? And I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I can make that decision where, like it's like you're so busy in work and it's overwhelming. And I'm like, do I want all that? Or am I like good enough to be like, this is all I need? And it's not as stressful. So I'm kind of in the middle of that. And I don't know if any of
You know
that
what?
makes
And no, I love it. You know what? Because there's so many people out there that are thinking exactly what you're thinking. It is, and whether it's in the auto industry or other industries, I mean, I've even been at that point. When people ask me that question, I always say, listen, you can say, oh, if I have a bigger company, I make more money. It's not even true. Right? You have bigger bills. So it's what can you manage and have a good work-life balance and make you happy, because you could have 30 employees, but then you got 30 problems,
Right.
Jesse's got his business marketing. He's got multiple employees. It's not always cut up for what it is, but do what makes you happy, truly happy, and allows you. If what's most important to you is some time off, is going overlanding important, is going on a vacation, or is it, I just love building something and making something for people, whatever it is, that's the right answer. I'm a big proponent of keeping things smaller. Now I say that, and we closed on Auto Action last week, and I inherited, 46 employees, and I'm like, oh, great. But I'm a big believer in, if I told people a long time ago, if I were to start 100% over and I could just to have a 1 or 2 man operation, I would do it in a second. Now that I've been on the other side. But that's just me. Some people are not like that. Some people are like, I got to have more and this or that, so it's whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. And I've always wanted the, like, for me, it's like, I love what I do, but for me, the passion of this is about the people, right? I love my customers. I love working with companies. When someone walks into my shop and they want us to, I don't know, like I had an older couple come in today and they just bought a brand new truck, and it's like, they're so excited about the simplest things they get to do to their truck for them. And for me, it's like, I love the fact that I'm able to be there for them to help them make these decisions, and then I get someone else that's like, actually another guy that came into my shop. We built 4 of his dad's trucks, and now he's excited because he's in his 20s and he just bought a brand new GMC, 2500, and he can finally build the same truck that his dad had built with us for years. And he's like, it's always been my dream to come here and have you guys build these trucks for us. And to me, like, yeah, I want to focus on like building my company, but I'm like, I just love the fact that like, I don't want to lose that personal connection with my customers. And that's the part that I love. I love that personal connection. I love the fact that like I can physically be there. And it's funny because like on my website too, I was like so stressing out about my guys. I'm like, when they're developing it, I'm like, I don't want it to look like a superstore. I want it to look like we're a personal company where people can like actually talk to somebody that, I don't, and that to me is like the biggest thing. So I think I'm more of like, I don't know how the business is going to go, but that's the part I think I want to focus on, is where I'm still keeping that personal connection and not losing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Now, me personally, if I never have to talk to another customer again in my life, that's the best thing. So I would rather have 30 emails and a stack of paperwork to go through versus talk to somebody about their truck. But that's why it's so awesome in this industry, because when you get it, like you said, that's how you get to know people, because now you can text 100 different people that through SEMA that you can bounce ideas off of and figure out where you fit in. So it is key. It is key.
What Sarah, what advice would you give somebody just entering this space, like somebody that's starting out trying to get into this world? What would you tell them?
For me, I would tell them like SEMA has been a huge resource. I think a lot of people focus just on the actual SEMA show itself. But I would say start getting involved meeting people, because all of the people that I have met, through SEMA, like, I mean, Melanie and Catherine, I became friends with them right away. And I think Melanie, Catherine, and Jenna have always been like a huge part of me being able to call them and ask them questions or for guidance. And I think just getting involved earlier, I think would have helped. And you don't have to like sit there and be on, council, but just somehow getting involved, or even just if you're on task forces. But to me, I think that made a huge difference. At any time being able to call somebody and be like, hey, are you going through this? And finding out that you're not the only one going through something. I mean, I don't know how many times I've sat down with other people in the industry, and it doesn't matter what part of the country they're in, they're going through the exact same thing, right? Like, we all have employee problems. If you're a family business, we all have the exact same issues with that. So to me, it's like finding other people in the industry, because everyone that's not in the industry is always going to talk you out of being, like, that's one thing, is like, people will be like, oh, my parents told me not to be in the automotive industry because you don't make any money. And I'm like, well, you're gonna make money no matter where you're at, as long as you do well, so for me, I think you need to find those other people that have that same passion that you can confide in and talk to, so they're not the ones talking you out of leaving something you love.
That's awesome.
That's great. Good advice.
Great. Well, before we get too far and about finish up, there is something I want to run past you. Okay. I think I ran it a little bit past Melanie, but you're a little bit more on tune. She's got so much bigger stuff. And when's the Queen take over? In like 12 days, I think. Right? Yeah.
July 1st.
Yeah. Jesse, by the way, is going to be. He just got voted into the select committee for pro.
Nice.
I term out in 12 days as IPC, so free agent.
Sad about this.
No, I'm not. I'm taking now. I can do my podcast 24 hours a day. Yeah. but I am thinking about starting something, because I'm gonna have a little bit of time. And SEMA Cares is so wonderful, but there are people that kind of like have a disdain for SEMA. So I'm thinking about SEMA Don't Cares. And SEMA Don't Cares will go to the same money to Austin Hatcher, everybody else. But that way, if they don't like SEMA Cares, they'll donate to SEMA Don't Cares, but the money goes to the same place. What do you think?
Nice. I love it.
You do?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Bring that up to the SEMA Cares board. Say, Josh is starting SEMA Don't Cares. I don't want to get a call from Spags or anybody like that, because listen, they have haters. Right? There are some people out there that are haters, but now it gives them a place to put their money.
Right. Totally.
So, all right. Well, that was my idea. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So Jesse always has one final question that we like to ask everybody, but thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate your time and everything. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. How do people find out more about you or get a hold of you? What websites do you want to share, and how do people follow you on social and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. But I guess the easiest way is if you go to our website, which is LGE-CTS.com. It has links to all of our social media on there. So and all of our contact information on there. So if you do have questions, feel free to call or reach out anytime. Like I said, I love talking to people. So if anyone has questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for doing this. You're an awesome. Yeah, when I think of Sara Morosan, I think of volunteer, 100% through and through. Plus, business owner. I'm going to have her write me a couple of business plans on how I can become an insurance agent or a certain insurance adjuster and still run a business. Can you write me a business plan for that? That would be awesome.
Totally. Even though I know business plans never work, right?
Well, no, but you still will write it. I don't care.
Still write them, but
I'll still try it. You know. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining. It's awesome to have you.
Yes, thank you. I love it, guys.
All right, thank you. We'll talk soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And there you have it, another high-octane episode of the Ride and Style podcast, revved up and ready to go. Your hosts, Jesse Stoddard and Josh Poulson, shifted your automotive game into overdrive. If you're hungry for more insights, trends, and game-changing interviews from the automotive restyling universe, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a glowing review. We'd also love for you to share this podcast with your gearheads, installers, and auto lovers network. Because remember, knowledge is power, but shared knowledge turbocharges the whole industry. For more expert resources to supercharge your business, cruise on over to autostylemarketing.com, your one-stop shop for everything automotive marketing. Until next time, keep those wheels spinning and your passion ignited. Thank you for riding in style with us. See you on the next lap.